Hello summoners and welcome back to another ProGuides video. My name is Saskio and today we'll be discussing a topic that isn't brought up too often. What is tempo, you ask? The word tempo came into English by the way of Italian, tracing all the way back to the Latin word tempus, meaning time. It was originally used to describe the timing of music or the speed at which a piece of music is played. Did you like that? We got it off Google. In all seriousness, tempo in League of Legends is how fast you are able to get onto the map and establish control first. In a nutshell, it basically means thinking about time as a resource and how you can get more of it compared to your opposition. Now, for our question of the day. If you had every champion competing in a race, who do you think would win? Personally, I'm gonna have to go with Rammus here because of his ability to spin and ramp up to victory. But okay. Before we get started, make sure to join our Discord and check out ProGuides.com. There, we have courses from your favorite pro players like Doublelift and many challenger level coaches who can take your gameplay to the next level. We also have daily live classes from top tier instructors like Zyrene and Mike Young. Don't miss out on these great opportunities to improve and join the community. With that being said, let's jump straight into the video. In order for us to discuss tempo, we need to give context on why it is important and what it may look like in game. As we stated earlier, tempo is how fast you are able to get onto the map and establish control relative to your opponent. The reason why tempo is so important in League of Legends is due to the fact that it dictates how much you are able to do before the enemy team can fight back. Let's create a scenario here for you to visualize this. As we can see here, all three lanes of blue team just pushed their respective waves at the exact same time and started recalling. Red team is all waiting under the tower to receive the wave because they are the weaker team and cannot contest the push. Once they have cleared the waves under tower, they will all reset at the same time to make sure they do not fall behind in item spikes. As we can see in the next shot, blue team is now on the map clearing the next wave while the jungler and support is already moving into the red team's jungle and establishing vision, before red team is even on the map. Now blue team can clear the waves and collapse inwards into the jungle and look for a pick on any unsuspecting red team members because blue team were ahead on tempo. While we understand this is a utopian situation in solo queue, hopefully this serves as a good example to really get across the concept of what tempo looks like to an extreme degree. Now that you have a general idea what tempo looks like, we wanted to give you common scenarios that you can apply this concept straight into your own gameplay. Situation number 1. You are playing Caitlyn and Thresh versus Lucian Braum. As Caitlyn, you kill Braum and get the assist on Lucian at level 3. You push in the wave to the tower and have roughly 900 gold to spend. On top of that, you and Thresh are at about 65% HP and mana. You guys choose to stay to get a plating and a half and continue laning until Lucian and Braum come back. Lucian comes back with an extra longsword and Braum has a control ward. While you may have double killed the enemy bot lane and have a gold advantage from kills and plates, you were actually behind because you used your tempo to push in the wave and take plates instead of resetting. Now, Lucian and Braum can look for all-ins with the item advantage and likely win. And even if you try to force reset, they will likely try to stop you. Even if they don't stop you, and you do get your reset off, they will still push in the wave and get a plating back and instantly reset to match your tempo and item spike. Well, how do you avoid that situation? Simple. After killing Lucian and Braum, push and crash your minion wave into the enemy tower. From there, you back up into the brush and reset. There's a good chance you will be slightly behind on tempo, but at least you have all your HP back and item advantage to play off of. Keep in mind this can be applied straight to top and mid lane to the same degree during the laning phase. Now that we have created a scenario on tempo during the laning phase, let's bring it back to team sieging scenarios. Your team just aced the enemy team but chose not to do Baron but instead to siege mid as 5. You guys take tier 2 and tier 3 cleanly and start doing work on the inhibitor. However, everybody on the enemy team has respawned and pulled the engage trigger as your team overextends for the final hit on the inhibitor. Everybody dies and now the enemy team simply rotates to Baron and secures it. Now, let's view the alternative here even if you got the enemy inhibitor. Your whole team will end up getting chased to tier 1 tower and forced to reset. Now your team is significantly behind in tempo and the enemy team has now established control wards in the river and wards all over your jungle. From here, they can probably do Baron. If not, they can sit inside your jungle looking for a pick when your team comes back from resetting. Now your team is forced into a position to attempt to retake tempo where a lot of mistakes can easily happen since you guys are going in blind. How does your team avoid that situation? Option number 1 is to simply do Baron and reset because the enemy team is all dead. But sometimes it may not be possible due to circumstances involving people being too low or simply not having enough damage to do it. Option 2. Since your team is committed to pushing mid, you can look to take tier 2 and tier 3, but instantly reset without attacking the inhibitor. Your tempo will be similarly matched to the enemy team, but you will get all your HP back and get to purchase more items since you won the team fight earlier. The key thing here is timing your ability to complete a reset as the enemy team spawns so that the tempo is very similar. When you are taking inhibitors in the mid game, you should never be overstaying to barely finish off an inhibitor, but instead recognizing that the enemy will intercept you and gain a massive tempo lead over you, even if you do get the inhibitor. For our third situation, we want to shift gears and talk about how to punish the enemy team after your team loses an objective. Let's say you just lost a team fight and the enemy team started Baron. During the Baron, everybody on your team respawned and started getting onto the map before they started their resets to base. Now instead of moving to the Baron side where all the enemy wards are established, you instead move into the enemy bot jungle with 2 to 3 core members of the team and look to place your own control wards and sit and wait to see if anybody walks in. Usually, you will catch the support moving into established vision, which may slow down the enemy push, allowing your team more time to farm or an opportunity to force a 5v4 fight. Regaining tempo is very tricky, even at the highest level of competitive gameplay. But the idea is to group and force numbers advantages and push waves to make the enemy team react. From here, you look to establish vision and clear vision as a team. After that, the support resets for more wards while everybody catches waves, and you repeat the process until your team can slowly move up the vision line. This is less likely to happen in solo queue because people are impatient, but we just wanted to include it in the video because this is the proper way to do it in a competitive game. This strategy is a lot easier to execute in solo queue and even sometimes happens in competitive gameplay. You may notice some similarities to the third situation we presented earlier, but the idea behind this concept is playing to the complete opposite side the enemy team has set up. Let's say the enemy team has a massive tempo advantage and has fully set up on your bot side for Dragon and bot tower control. Instead of attempting to clear vision and face check to look for a fight, abandon the Dragon and establish vision in the enemy top side and look for a pick on the enemy top laner. There are many ways to play around a loss of tempo, but this one is by far the easiest one to pull off, assuming you do not have to absolutely contest the objective on the side that you lost tempo on. Let's create an example for this. Let's say the enemy red team has full control in your bot side jungle for the third Dragon. Instead of attempting to regain control of that area, you look to set up in the enemy top side jungle and look to siege their top side or catch the enemy top laner. Once the enemy team has completed the Dragon, they will reset and push into their top side. This is where you will reset before they catch you and now establish vision in bot side river to always maintain opposite side control and attempt another play onto their top laner again. Side note, you will notice that in high level competitive games, the losing team will always make plays on the enemy top laner because he is the one isolated from the rest of their team. Just keep in mind, the losing team will usually sacrifice objectives to make this work, so there is a gain to be made but also a loss in another department. Looking back on everything we talked about, tempo is something solo queue players can start thinking about more often. Regardless of the game state and score, if you are able to find opportunities to set up before the enemy team has set foot on a specific side, you have the advantage to set up picks, ultimately nullifying the enemy's lead if they have one while furthering your own gold count. You'll be surprised how easy it is to force picks to come back into games because people are wandering places they should not be. Also, this gives you the knowledge to have an understanding why pro teams do certain things to maintain tempo in any given match. Now you too can also be a challenger analyst when it comes down to breaking pro games. That's going to be it for today's video about tempo in League of Legends. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to join our Discord below where we do tons of coaching giveaways and community events. Lastly, don't forget to visit our website at ProGuides.com where you can receive coaching from pro players, watch live classes, and improve with courses from pro players. Thank you very much for watching and good luck in your next few games.